This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Readers Entertainment Radio, and already my dog is saying welcome. This is Patricia W. Fisher, and it is December already. How did the year go by so quickly? I don't even know. It's December 5th. It's Thursday, and as always, we say, I hope you're having a great day, Chris Hemsworth, wherever you are. But today, there's no reason to go anywhere else to look for Chris because we have an amazing, amazing author with us today, Susanna Nix. She is an award-winning author of contemporary romances featuring smart women and swoony men, including the Chemistry Lesson series of rom-coms about women who work in the STEM fields and Starstruck series of movie star romances. She's a member of the Romance Writers of America and Greater Houston RWA chapter. Susanna resides in Texas with her husband, her cats, her dog, and when she's not writing, she enjoys reading, cooking, knitting, watching stupid amounts of television, and getting distracted by Tumblr. And she's also a power lifter who can deadlift as much as Captain America weighs. So we'll throw a quick hello to Chris Evans wherever you are in that fabulous cable knit sweater that you wore in Knives Out. So welcome to the show, Miss Susanna Nix. How are you today?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I had to put my dog out real quick because she was saying hi over and over and over again. So she sends her regards. So you, let's see, how do we even start? So I love the fact that you have these beautifully fun, first the covers are wonderful, and then you have these wonderfully sweet and fabulous romances. And I don't mean sweet, if you're listening, I don't mean this is necessarily a sweet romance. The story is sweet and lovely and fabulous. And one of your Amazon reviewers said, your books are the kind of romances I want to not only read but live. So, you know, I know everybody always asks you this question, but why write romance? Why not write anything else? What was it that made you want to write romance?
Well, I tried writing a bunch of different genres before I landed on romance, actually.
Okay.
I tried writing a historical fiction. Actually, I did write a historical fiction. I tried writing a paranormal mystery. I tried writing epic fantasy. And what I realized is that the part of all of those stories that I was the most invested in and I had the most fun writing was the relationships between the characters. And
yes.
all the plot was just, it was just so hard for me to develop these complicated plots and sort of push the story through them. And all I wanted was to put two people in a room together and have them talk and fall in love. So that's when I realized, I should be writing romance.
There you go. Well, and I think we all want that hope. I mean, it's definitely hope and positivity and just, you know, why not, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's something really optimistic about romance because you know there's always going to be a happy ending.
And it's funny because I've had people tell me, and I'm sure, you know, we've in Romancelandia, we've all heard it. Why write it? It's so predictable, right? And it's like, well, you keep going to Star Wars movies, and we know the Jedi's going to win eventually, so come on.
Yeah.
But we all go because we like the journey. Mystery is
predictable, too. The predictability is very comforting. People love that about it. I mean, that's why people love mystery because you know that the bad guy's always going to get caught at the end. If they don't, then you're going to be really disappointed and upset.
Right. Even in a serial, like, I mean, you know, if you do the Janet Ivanovich, there's not been really one, you know, bad guy strung through the whole thing. It's the series of events.
Right.
And then we keep getting the same crazy characters every time. So, yeah, you're right. The comfort of knowing for sure what's going to happen. Like, if we read Stephen King, we all know we're going to have the bejesus scared out of, so, you know, and creeped out. But it's told really well. And that's kind of the cool part about it. So you did romance. When was the first time or first book you finished, and did it actually get printed, or is it that symbolic book we say we finished a book and now we're going to write the book we're actually going to let people see?
Well, the first book I actually finished was a historical fiction, and I thought it was a romance, and then by the end I realized that the heroine had actually turned down her suitor and chosen her career over love, and I realized that's not a romance. I can't print that.
Right. Women's fiction.
So,
okay. But yeah, romance.
that book is still in a drawer somewhere. It's women's fiction, but that book is still in a drawer somewhere. And so the first real romance that I wrote is my first book, Remedial Rocket Science, and the first book that I published.
Okay. And then why go in this? I know a lot of people have talked for the last several years about really getting more girls into STEM. You've got STEM Gems and A Mighty Girl and all these really cool organizations and push for more girls to get into STEM and STEAM. But why pick that area for your first series?
Well, it sort of happened accidentally. I had written the first book, and the character was an MIT graduate who, a computer science graduate who had gone into IT as a career. And I sort of picked that in part because that's what my husband does, and so it was easy for him to help me with all the technical jargon and stuff.
Oh, perfect.
And then once I'd written that, and I was, looking at publishing it, I realized, I probably should try and develop this into a series. But I hadn't planned ahead of time for it to be a series. And so I was trying to come up with, a theme for the subsequent books. And women in STEM was really big at the time. And, people were talking about it a lot. And I thought, well, that's a great theme for a series because I have a lot of friends who are women who work in STEM fields. And, there are actually plenty of romances with STEM heroines, but there's also, I thought that there should be more, frankly. I thought there was room for a lot more STEM heroines in romance. And so I just started, picking from my friends' jobs and making them the heroines of romance novels.
I love it. Well, and it's fun because, one of the great lines that you have in Remedial Rocket Science is, she basically says she can be herself and she doesn't have to worry about that. And I think that's, all of us want to just find that person that we can just be who we are with. Yeah. And that's really swoony.
Yeah.
It's really swoony.
Yeah, it is.
And then you've got these cool, how much input, I know that authors don't get a huge amount of input with their covers just because, depending on the publisher. But,
I'm self-published, so
y'all came up with these really amazing covers.
Oh, I get all the input on my covers because I'm self-published. But honestly, I have to credit them to my cover designer because I didn't know what I wanted. I knew I wanted an illustrated cover because I was trying to sort of emphasize. I wanted something a little sort of that hinted sort of comic booky because the heroine was sort of geeky and she had these sort of geeky interests and the books are not super steamy. So I didn't want, like bare-chested men on the cover because I felt like that would be false advertising. So I went to my cover designer and I sort of described vaguely what I wanted. And he just came up with these great covers. And they're just, they're so wonderful. So that's all to him.
So what's the input you're getting from women who are in STEM who have read your books? Are they saying, yes, those formulas are correct on the covers? Or, what kind of, because it never fails. Like I was a nurse for years and I'll be watching something and I'll be really into the story and then something will happen and I go, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually the feedback has been really positive from people who do work in STEM. On the first book, I think, because the title is meant to be metaphorical, Remedial Rocket Scientist, she's not a rocket scientist. She works in IT. And so I did get some people that were like, I thought there'd be more rocket science in this book, which I'm like, did you really want rocket science in a romance novel? But they did, apparently. So the second book, she is a rocket scientist. But yeah, the people who have worked in the fields that I describe in the book, for the most part, I think they've all been really pleased with it. I've gotten some comments from people, saying this is exactly what it was like for me. I really relate to her struggles as, a woman trying to be heard in the workplace, and, a lot of that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
And then you have 4. So you have the Remedial Rocket Sciences first, Intermediate Thermodynamics, Advanced Physical Chemistry, Applied Electromagnetism. And so you just really kind of hit all sorts of different angles for this, and just so much fun, and the covers are fabulous. And so, and this is the Applied Chemistry series, correct?
Chemistry lessons.
chemistry lessons. Thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, it's so much fun. And then you did something completely different for your Christmas book.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I wrote a small town romance that's actually like partially YA because it starts when they're in high school, and you follow the characters through 10 years, and you just meet them on Christmas Day every year for 10 years as they sort of grow up and grow apart and then back together.
And what was the catalyst for this story?
It was, I was trying to come up with a Christmas novella. I knew I wanted to release something around Christmas, and I just wanted to do something different and potentially maybe set up a new series that I might write in the future. And I've been wanting to do something small town setting, and something in Texas because the chemistry lessons books all take place in Los Angeles. And so I wanted to write something that takes place in my home state. And so I just thought, well, let's just make up a small town and populate it with all these characters that if I ever do decide to turn it into a series, then, I can revisit them. And the story itself was actually partially inspired by a Rainbow Rowell short story called Midnights, I think it was called. And it follows like a pair of best friends like through a few years on New Year's Eve. And I thought that's a really cool thing, just sort of meeting up with these people once a year. And so that's where I got the idea for that.
So when you did you live in LA? So were you familiar with the setup and everything?
I've never lived in LA, but I have had friends who lived there that I've gone to visit a lot over the years. And my editor lives in LA, which is really helpful because she can be like, yeah, we wouldn't. This is wrong. We're going to fix it.
Oh, yeah. So I was laughing because I don't know if you've watched Saturday Night Live, but they did this skit for years called The Californians. And,
yes, I remember that.
And everything was, if you're going to take the PCH, but you can't take it after 5, and then you jump on it's just like everything's about in what direction they're going to drive.
Yes.
And Gemma Halliday does something like that. Her High Heels Mysteries is set up in LA. So I read it and I'm like, this is a map. I could figure out how to get places, because I would, she lives there. So, but yeah, it's just all those little things that readers are really interesting because they will say, you can't do that. I mean, I love your story, but that's not that street and that doesn't intersect there.
Yeah, there was actually a scene that I wrote in the first book that my editor edited for me, and I had sort of picked a restaurant and looked at it on Google Satellite, and I didn't name the restaurant, but I described the street that they were on, and she was like, I know exactly what restaurant this is. Do you live here? I was like, nope.
No, just did my homework. So were you always interested to write, or what was your initial, when you were younger, you're like, I'm going to be this when I grow up?
Well, I went to college in San Antonio, actually, to Trinity, and I was a communications major, and I did advertising and public relations for a while. And I wasn't one of those people that I didn't want to write when I was young, like when I was a kid. It wasn't until I became an adult that I started sort of thinking this would be something that would be fun to try. And once I became a stay-at-home mom, and I sort of needed something to sort of keep my mind engaged, I started trying to write more then. So I spent a lot of years just sort of writing on my own.
Well, I'm in San Antonio as well, and so I had a cousin years ago that went to Trinity, so I'd heard about it for a long time. And then my daughter, who was on your book, she went to Trinity for a workshop, like a day-long workshop for middle schoolers, and she said they were so impressed with the cafeteria because it had king-size Snickers. She was very impressed with Trinity.
It was not like that back when I went there. I was just having dinosaurs roam the earth before Starbucks was even a thing in Texas, and it was not that nice.
Right. Yeah. I was at UT, and I'm like, there were no king-size Snickers there either.
I did not get king-size Snickers.
No. I don't even think they existed at the time. So, but yeah, it's and it's in a cool area. Trinity is in a really cool area of town, and you can walk everywhere. They're right down from the zoo, and now they've gone in and they've redone the zoo, and there's all sorts of like new pathways, and they're extending the Riverwalk all the way to the zoo. like this massive project.
Wow,
so you could be,
that's amazing.
Right. So you could take, there's, the train that goes around the zoo.
Yes.
And so my understanding is you'll be able to, I guess, catch the train. It'll take you back around to the zoo, and then you can go to the Whitty and then walk, along Broadway there and everything. So it's supposed to be a pretty cool deal. So,
oh, wow, that sounds
we'll
great.
see. I know, huge. So you've got your STEM series, you've got your Christmas series, but you don't just have that. Wait, that's not all. You have Falling Star and Rising Star as well. So tell us a little bit about those.
So those are movie star romances, which I kind of just wrote for myself for fun, because I was sort of, the STEM series is great, but sometimes I just wanted to be able to sort of break out of that mold and do something a little bit different. And the movie star books are a little steamier. They do have hot guys on the cover because they're a little more mainstream romance. And I've never worked in Hollywood, but I've got friends that have, and I've been lucky enough to visit a few movie sets. And I was actually an extra in an episode of The West Wing way a long time ago, and spent a couple of days on the set. So I drew on those experiences for those books, because I was able to sort of write the behind-the-scenes Hollywood stuff. Hopefully, fingers crossed, kind of realistically.
Right. Well, and we all know that truth is stranger than fiction. So even if you came up with something kind of outlandish, people would be like, "Oh man, she totally made this up."
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just sort of my own, it's one of my favorite tropes. I just love it. I mean, because I love Chris Evans, and doesn't everybody want to imagine that, that Chris Evans is going to fall madly in love with them? I think that's a totally, totally awesome thing to think about.
Goals, hashtag. Dream big or go home, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So what are you planning for? What is your future stuff? Because are you going to do more in your the Starstruck series or the chemistry series? I mean, what are you thinking?
I'm definitely going to do more of the chemistry lesson series. I'm just started working on the next book in that series. And I'm not sure how long that series is going to go on, probably for as long as I can think of ideas for it, maybe forever.
Right?
Yeah, but I just started on the next book, and that'll probably be out next summer, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a stay-at-home mom. You got, busy four-legged children as well that keep you distracted, I'm sure. But so what is your general routine? I mean, how do you plot? Do you kind of wing it? I mean, how do you get your stuff done?
Well, I'm an empty nester now. My kid's off at college, so the house is nice and quiet during the day. And I do all my writing in the morning, because I'm a morning person, and that's when my brain is sort of the most active. And so I usually get up in the morning and try to get my word count done as much as I can. And then I spend the rest of the day doing either stuff around the house, or there's a lot of marketing, social media, all that kind of stuff that I have to do. Because I'm self-published, I have to do manage my own advertising and all that. So it's a lot of work in addition to the writing. I'm sort of halfway between a seat of my pantser and a plotter. I do outline, but my outlines are a little bit vague. I don't get super detailed in the outline stage. I tend to leave some sort of room for improvisation along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that a lot of people, gone are the days of I wrote a book and the publicist the publisher takes care of everything. Because even if you get published by a publisher, you are really responsible for, I'd say, a good 80% of your own marketing after that first couple of weeks of release. I mean, your publishers will do some stuff for you, but really you're the one who's supposed to be keeping it in the mind of readers. And so doing it all by yourself, do you have something that you feel like works the best? Because people talk about blog tours, they talk about all these different things. I mean, what have you seen the most success with?
Really, it's been a combination of luck and cross promotion with other authors. If you can find the right author that who's has a lot of overlap with your readers, and you can sort of do some cross promotions with them, that really can work amazingly well. If she's not quite the right audience, then it doesn't always hit as well. So it's kind of a game of chance. But yeah, I mean, and I do Facebook advertising, and that takes a lot of study and work to get it right.
Sure.
But yeah, a combination of those things I think are really the biggest factors.
And I think too also just promoting other writers just because they have a new release, and I think that it's a give and take. I mean, never ever say, will you advertise my book or put it on there and then not reciprocate. I mean, that's never okay.
It's a community, and if you lift someone else up, you're lifting everyone up, really.
Right.
And so I try to lift up other authors as much as I can, and every once in a while someone will return the favor, and just put good deeds out in the world, and hopefully good deeds will come back to you.
Right. So what has been the most fabulous response you've gotten from your books?
Probably from like a woman who is actually a rocket scientist and who read my second book about the rocket scientist. And one of the subplots of that story is the heroine's sort of struggle to be taken seriously in a male-dominated field, and her male coworkers were sort of shutting her out a little bit, and she was she has a real journey trying to figure out a way to make herself heard. And somebody wrote to me and said that they really, really related to that aspect of the story and to that character in particular, who has the exact same job as them.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that kind of feedback's always nice. I write a medical series, and so I'll get people to kind of joke and say, I can't believe you came up with some of this stuff. And it's like, I didn't really make it up, And like you're saying, you talking to your friends, I'm sure there's things in there that you're getting good feedback on, and other people are like, there's no way that that's what's going on. Did you want to bring more of an awareness of women in STEM by doing that, or did you just wanted to write about women in STEM?
I definitely
and it just fell into the other.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think that's part of it, right? Like, you can't really realistically show women working in STEM fields without showing the challenges that they face. It's just part of the job.
Were you surprised by some of the stuff your friends were telling you when you were doing the research?
I was not really. I sort of knew, just you hear enough. Actually, one of the movie star books is not a STEM book, but the heroine is a sociology PhD student. And that book, her storyline is she's being sexually harassed by her academic advisor. And I wrote that book during the Kavanaugh hearings in the area of, when Me Too was really in the news a lot. And a friend of mine who works in academia showed me, I don't know if you remember the bad men in Hollywood list that was kind of going around. It was like a shared doc that if you'd had a bad experience, you put your experience down, and it was like a whisper network of who to watch out for. There's one for academia too, and a friend of mine linked me to it. And so I went in there and I was reading all these firsthand accounts of all of this harassment that women had experienced in academia. And the saddest thing was how many of them ended with the woman leaving the program and choosing a different career. It just destroys career, like so many promising careers, the way that people are treated. And so that was very intentionally a major part of that book. And I wrote that because I really wanted to bring more attention to, the way that women are being treated.
I think that you bring out a really strong point because, we've all talked to people that say, oh, it's just a romance novel and, they're just falling in love. But we have this wonderful canvas to really talk about some heavier subjects and bring that to light along with the journey of, happily ever after. because not everybody's just going to come and say, I like you, you like me, and that works. I mean, everyone's got their stuff that they're working through. And I, so glad that we'll step up and say, no, we're going to write about this, and, you're going to read it, and people are going to get more aware. And I think it's important. I think not shying away from heavier subjects is important.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're writing your 5th book for the chemistry lessons. Which character is this?
So this is a whole new character, and I'm not ready to say what her job is yet. But just the other night, I did my first interview with a friend whose job I'm basing it on. And so I haven't worked out the details yet, but she is going to be a PhD student in a science field. So yeah, I'm gonna once I've gotten some more of the detail. I'm still in the outlining phase right now, so I'm throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, and I haven't figured out what's going to stick.
So have you gone down to there's a whole, let's see, it's 5 female astronauts is the next team that's going to go up, I think, in the space station. But have you sent them the books?
No, I didn't even think about that.
You should. It would be a really fun PR thing. I mean, why
maybe
not? All of them have been through all this stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
I say that because I wrote with a group of authors with Tule, and we did one about first responders raising money for like a Boys and Girls Club in town, and they decided to do a calendar. And so we were joking because the Australian firefighters calendar had come out, and they always send their video out about making the calendar, and everybody watches it like 75 times. And so I posted it on my author page and, of course, tagged all the authors and then tagged the Australian firefighter calendar guys and said, here's our inspiration for our series or what have you, whatever. And the guys wrote back.
Wow.
And, and they said, what is this? What are you guys doing? So then we ended up talking back and forth, and then we sent them the books. And one of the books made the calendar for the next year. Like he was reading it while this puppy was sitting on his shoulder.
Oh, my gosh, that's amazing.
So it was one of those things you're like, you just don't know. You should send
it. That's incredible. Maybe I will then.
You should. You should offer it. Just shoot it there. Yeah. Take it out. I mean, why not? Why not? The worst they can say is nothing.
Exactly.
So you also, along with writing and all these other things, you also power lift. How long have you been doing that?
I do. I think it's been about 6 or so years. I don't compete. I don't do it competitively. My husband is a competitive power lifter, and he's also a coach. So I started it because I was having like really bad chronic back pain and from being a writer and just sitting and hunched over a computer all day. And I kept throwing out my back doing stupid stuff like picking up a pillow, so embarrassing. And so he finally was like, you really need to do some strength training and build your core strength, and that will really help prevent some of this pain that you're having. And I mean, it really has, like, so much of my repetitive stress pain has just gone since I started powerlifting. So it's been really, really helpful to sort of, make myself able to sit and write all day.
Yeah, and then you're not, achy and what have you. It definitely makes a difference.
Yes.
So let's back
from
up
lifting,
to July.
but not from using the computer.
Right. The good burn, right?
Exactly. It's a good ache. It's a productive ache.
So let's back up to July. And you are sitting, well, first I guess we'd have to back up farther than that. It would be when the Rita Awards are announced and you're a finalist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is for mid-length? So what are you thinking when you get that phone call?
I was stunned. I just didn't expect to be able, I had no expectation that I would be a finalist, much less a winner. and they call you. I sort of knew that they were making the reading announcements that day, but I didn't really think that I had a chance. And so I got a call from an unknown number, and I don't answer calls from unknown numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't answer it. And then it occurred to me, oh, wait, maybe you should have answered that. And then the same number called back, and I did answer it, and it just blew my mind. I mean, it was just such a shock and such an amazing honor.
And how did you celebrate?
How did I celebrate? Honestly, I'm not sure that I did. I mean, I was in the middle of writing a book at the time, and so I think maybe, I'm sure my husband and I probably went out to dinner. I didn't have a party or anything memorable like that, but.
Sure. And then you go to New York, and you're sitting there, and you get to go to the luncheon, you get to go to the rehearsal because they have you walk through. Of course, you had to go through picking the right clothes to wear because it's a fancy night.
It is a fancy night, and I was like, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to have to go up on stage and be in front of the live stream, so I don't need to try that hard. But again, I was like, I'm going to practice my makeup just in case.
Right. So let's, just in case. And then you win. Yes. I mean, what was going through your mind? Did you just blank out? Did you 9,000 things at once?
Did.
I mean,
I literally sort of blacked out. I don't remember walking up on stage. I actually had to ask later because Rochelle Allers had presented me the award, and later on I was like, did I hug Rochelle Allers? I can't remember. I hope I hugged her. And so I just was on autopilot, and I actually was a little, like, I was sort of half convinced that it had been a mistake, that they'd done what they did with Moonlight at the Oscars and read my name by mistake. And so when they actually handed me the award, I looked at it, and it actually has, like, it's already engraved with your name and your book title. And I was like, I guess this is not a mistake, because this is real.
Right. Terry Wilson won, so we had, you and Terry won here from the Texas chapters. And we were all there, and we were sitting there, and we were looking, and we heard her name, but then we all sat there for a second. It was that same kind of pause of, okay, wait, did they really say? And then they
is that
will
real,
flash,
or am I
of course. Right, and then they flash the book cover up on the screen, and it'll say, winner. It's because they've already done all the graphics. And you're like, oh, it is. And, I mean, I would guess that that's kind of that same pause. It's like, wait, did they say my name? Because you don't want to walk up there and go, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be a brilliant, horrible moment for someone in a book.
Right? If you had a similar name to the actual winner, you thought they said your name.
I should so write that.
You should.
I'm taking notes right now. So, and then what did you do after? What did you go to do to celebrate? Because I know you celebrated because all your peeps are there, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, my husband came. He was so, he almost didn't come. I told him, you don't have to come. You're going to be so bored. Don't worry about it. I've got some friends there, and I'm not going to win anyway, so just stay home. And then sort of last minute, he decided to fly up there. And I already had roommates, so he had to stay in a different hotel all the way across the city. But he was so glad that he was there, because he's like, if you had won and I hadn't been there, I would have felt terrible. So we stopped by the after party, and then we actually went across the street to Junior's to get something to eat because we were starving.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think I visited Junior's when we were up there at least 3 times.
Yes. Yeah, because it's so convenient and delicious.
Well, yes. For sure. And plus you get so busy with your workshops that you get to be 8 o'clock at night and you say, oh, wait, I didn't eat anything today. So I should probably eat something besides a fiber bar.
I was eating protein bars in the room before the awards ceremony because, you have to, I had to go back to the room and, wash my hair and put on my makeup. It was the whole thing. And then, the awards is basically during dinner time. And so, and I think we got lemon drops to eat.
Yeah, I think we did. They got lemon drops and coffee. I think that's what we got.
Yeah. So I was scarfing protein bars so that I wouldn't pass out.
You know, the first time I went to RWA, it was in Dallas, and that was like 11 years ago or something. And I packed a bunch of extra protein bars in my bag because I thought, I'll save money this way. And then I think I had like hoarded a bunch of points and had like my Starbucks gift card, so I could like throw everything on there if I needed to just grab something and live on coffee for 4 days. And it was funny to find so many other people did the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I just thought,
Yeah. This is my very first RWA national conference because I'm pretty new to all of this. But I used to go to Comic-Con back in the mid-2000s. So I have some con-going experience, and I knew, bring protein bars, plan around meals, make sure you're getting sustenance. I think, what was the rule that we used to say for Comic-Con? I think it was 4 hours of sleep, 1 shower, and 2 meals per day. Make sure that's the bare minimum.
Oh, wow. So when you went to Comic-Con, did you dress up, or were you just going to people watch, or what'd you do?
I did not dress up. I'm not a cosplayer. One of my characters is a cosplayer, but I am not personally. We would just go just to see, my husband actually, we really liked Artist's Alley. This was back before it was quite so huge. So you could just kind of walk up and down Artist's Alley and talk to the artists and buy books and stuff, and that was always really fun. And then it was cool to go to the big panels and, get previews of, the upcoming TV shows and movies. And, you'd run into celebrities, just in the lobby of your hotel because, they're in the same hotel as you. You just end up riding in the elevator with them. Back then, I think now it's a little too crowded to do that.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun.
So what was the most friendly celebrity you met?
I'm trying to think. There was one year where we kept bumping into Joss Whedon like 4 times, and he was very nice, but I think also a little bit shy and overwhelmed. So he wasn't unfriendly, but I think he was kind of a little quiet.
Sure.
But he was very nice, and we took pictures and got him to sign some of our comic books, some of the X-Men books he'd written. And Seth Green was actually down the hall from us one year, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Robot Chicken. And he rode in the elevator with us. Our daughter was 10-ish at the time. No, she was a little younger, I think 8 or 9. Anyway, and he rode in the elevator, and she was eating ice cream, and she offered to share it with him, and he was chatting with her. So that was adorable.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
After a while, when you keep running into people like that, I think we were somewhere, and I kept running into someone, and it wasn't anybody famous, but this author and I kept running into each other, and I think I finally turned around and said, "Stop following me," just as a joke.
Yeah.
As a joke. We got a good laugh out of it. I don't think I saw her again after that.
Yeah, conferences are weird because you'll keep bumping into the same people over and over, but then the people that you're trying to find, you never can find. You never see them. Strange how that works.
Right, or you have to purposely say, "Be here at this time," so I actually see you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. And then there's always, in every conference too, there's always that one person that you see over and over, and you may have never seen this person at a conference before, and they've been at several, and you just keep running into them. And that's your conference check-in partner, just kind of unofficial. And so you keep seeing each other. And so I think that's one of the fun reasons about them.
Yeah, I just was at Romance Author Mastermind here in Houston just before Thanksgiving, and a friend of mine was there, and every time I went into the bathroom, she was there in line in the bathroom. And it just became this joke, that we were on the same bathroom schedule, because literally every single time I go in, there she was, and I always saw her there.
So years ago, I was at Anaheim, and my roommate came back to the room, and she was just in hysterics because there was it was the chat with Nora Roberts that Nora Roberts does all the time, and she's answered the same 50, very graciously answered the same 50 questions for however many years she's done this. And so, of course, everyone's taken off for the bathroom afterwards because it's at 8 in the morning and everyone's had coffee, and so everyone's in the bathroom. And my friend is in one stall, and then there's a woman next to them, and then there's another woman on the other side. And the woman in the middle is just so excited to be at this conference. Like, she is talking to everyone while she's in the stall. And she's just going, oh, my God, this is the most fabulous conference. I can't even believe I'm here, and blah, blah, blah. And she's just going on. And she says, have you been to a conference before? And she's like, there's this huge pause in the bathroom because everyone's just thinking, who is she talking to? And the woman in the stall next to her says in this low, gravelly voice, yeah, I've been to a few of these conferences. And she's like, oh, my gosh, this is so exciting. I'm whatever her name was. What's your name? And she's like, I'm Nora Roberts. And everyone just lost it, you know?
Yeah.
You just never know. I guess that's why conferences are fun, because those tiny moments that you just kind of gather and run into people and network, and it's just very cool. So you've done the Mastermind Conference. What other events or appearances will you be making in the next, say, 6 months or so?
So next year is actually my first year that I'm doing book signings. I've held off on book signings because I wanted to, actually have people who've heard of me before I started paying. They're expensive
That's
to fly
fair.
these things. So, so next year I've got a signing in Cleveland in March. Lay all your books on me. And then in June I'm doing Rare Edinburgh in Scotland. So that's very exciting.
That's fabulous.
And then
yes.
I think it's August is Book Bonanza in Grapevine, Texas. So that is also extremely exciting.
Yes. And then you'll be at RWA.
Yes.
Looks like you'll be at RWA in San Francisco in July.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. You've got a busy year coming up.
I do. I'm going to have to work all my writing in between all of these travel plans, which is, again, another reason that I've held off on doing signings, because travel is so exhausting. It really takes a lot out of me. And so having to come back from travel and try to get back in the writing groove is always a struggle. So I'm going to have to be very organized this year.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think we all feel like we're going to get a huge amount of writing done at some of these conferences because we're going to be around all these like-minded and creatives and brainstorming. And I think a lot of times we just get back to the room and I just need to sit in the quiet and not talk to anyone, including myself.
Yeah, I can never get any work done when I'm traveling. My brain is just so fried that I can't really focus on anything. But I know some people do. I mean, there was a quiet room at RWA where for people to go sit and write, and I'd walk by it and people were in there working. I mean, some of them had deadlines like during the conference, so they had no choice. But I'm so impressed by people who can just be like, yeah, I'm just going to go sit down for 30 minutes and do some writing. I honor you.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Throw down 1,000 words. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I wish I could do that. Please teach me your magic.
Right. Oh, please. Well, we have about a minute left, and so I just wanted to tell everyone, if you are looking for Susanna, you can go to Susanna Nix. So it's SUSANNAHNIX.com. She's also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Amazon, Goodreads, and BookBub, and all of those links will be in the write-up of the show. And presently her book that's out right now, Maybe This Christmas, is her most recent release. And then you've got Applied Electromagnetism is out as well, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So just saying that might be a really good gift for someone on your list or yourself as you think about gifts for the holidays. So I really appreciate you coming and talking to us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've had a great time chatting.
Absolutely. And please come back when you've got your next books out. We want to hear all about them.
All right. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is Patricia for Readers Entertainment Radio.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions. www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
From the excitement of nominations to the applause after the opening of an envelope at the big award shows, The Hollywood Reporter is your source for the inside scoop on the moments leading up to and celebrating the wins of your favorite films, actors, and all the people that made them. Follow the race at HollywoodReporter.com for predictions, reviews, and voters. Check out the THR Awards Hub for everything you need for award season coverage. Visit THR.com today and subscribe to our newsletters so you don't miss a beat.
I'm Victoria Cash, and I want to invite you to a place called Lucky Land, where you can play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. So what are you waiting for? The best way to discover your luck is to spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com, that's LuckyLandSlots.com, and get lucky today. At Lucky Land. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.